IELTS Energy listeners, we have an amazing crossover episode today. We have Maria and Rory from IELTS Speaking Success. Welcome to the show, you guys.
Thank you very much for having us.
Awesome. So
Hello.
let me just introduce them quickly, guys. If you don't know them, I mean, you should know them because they have an incredible IELTS podcast. Maria is a CELTA tutor, IELTS teacher trainer, and Rory is an independent English teacher specializing in exam preparation, specifically IELTS, of course. And together, they are the dynamic hosts of IELTS Speaking for Success. So, guys, before we get into the tips, because you guys, with your expertise and your experience, I know, Maria, you've actually taken the test a number of times.
Oh, yes. Yes, several times.
I'm always surprised by IELTS teachers who have never taken the test. What do you think about that, Maria?
Well, what can we say? Well, why not, You can take the test, you may not take the test, but it's much better to take it, to just experience it yourself,
Exactly. I love the way you said that. It was like a visceral, exam reaction. Experience
Just take
it. Listeners to the podcast, if you're not watching this on YouTube, you should. So check out the IELTS Energy TV YouTube channel. So guys, today we are going to tell you what to not say on the IELTS exam and tell you what you should say instead. There are 4 amazing tips coming up. But guys, first of all, can you let us know a little bit about your podcast?
Well, they always say ladies first, so Maria.
So we are IELTS Speaking for Success, and we take IELTS speaking topics, like fresh IELTS speaking topics. We give you model answers with vocabulary, gorgeous grammar. So we just give you the answers. We have our free episodes and also our premium episodes where we discuss IELTS speaking part 2 and 3.
Okay.
So like quality IELTS preparation for speaking. And Rory, hello.
Hello. So the way that it goes normally.
that was an interesting handoff, Maria.
Hello, Rory.
That's how it goes. Rory? This is the kind of dynamism that you should expect on the podcast. Yes. So
I love it.
That summarizes the purpose of the podcast brilliantly. However, when it comes down to how it works, Maria asks the questions, finds the topics, and explores the answers. But the answers come from me and some of the exploration as well. Although I should say Maria does a much better explanation of the grammar and vocabulary than I do.
Yes, and we are the podcast, because now, we started back in 2019, and now we have over 12 million listens all over the world.
That's amazing.
And on our YouTube, we have like 70,000 subscribers.
That's awesome.
So now we are quite big.
So same name on YouTube, right? IELTS Speaking for Success? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys, you can pause the episode right now. We'll be here and you can go check them out on YouTube. Okay. We will remind you about that at the end of the show, guys, but let's get to today's topic. So we are going to talk about 4 things that you should not say on the speaking exam because the examiner will not be happy. So we'll talk about the score and advice. So the first thing, what is the number one thing, Rory, that students should not say on the speaking test?
Well, if we talk about the very top thing to say, just I don't know and nothing else is not going to be enough, I'm afraid. And you can't say I don't know to everything. I tried this on a French test once and it didn't work then. So it won't work for IELTS either.
Didn't work. How does that affect people's score? Like specifically, if they say I don't know, how does that affect their score?
Oh, massively. If it's just particularly if it's a persistent I don't know, because the purpose of the test is to provide a sample of language, an extensive sample of language. And if you
It's a speaking
repeat
test.
the same phrase over and over again, that's not a sample. That's just you on repeat.
Exactly. So, of course, we're not saying you have to know about everything, right? Because sometimes there's really weird topics. So instead of saying, I don't know, remember it's a speaking test. and you do have to speak. So, what is something the students could say instead if they're like really unfamiliar with the
Mm.
topic? They have to be honest about it, right? So, what could they say instead? Do you think?
Well, we talked about I don't know being a bad idea, but I don't know is fine as long as you add something else. I don't know and then yes. I
Yeah,
don't know, but maybe this.
totally.
The other thing is you can
Uh huh.
admit that you don't know in different ways. So for example, you could say, well,
Yeah.
that's honestly not a topic I'm familiar with. However, and then if I were to guess, and then guess. So there are different ways to admit that you don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So remember to match the tone of these
Mhm.
phrases, right? So, like, if somebody asks you, in speaking part one, if they're like, "What are the favorite colors of your friends at the moment?" That's like my favorite weird question that has been on the exam. It's such a perfect example of like the really just oddball
Yeah,
stuff
where does
IELTS
that come
throws at you.
from?
So, if you're asked that in speaking part one, like, don't give like a
I
formal, "I'm honestly, that's not a topic I'm familiar with." Like, that would be weird, right?
I'm not an expert.
I know.
I'm not an expert on my friend's colors. Whoa.
Exactly. Exactly.
But
Well,
if I were to guess, I'd say pink.
it's so weird, right? So just
Mm.
be honest about it, right? So in part 3, I'm not familiar with that topic. In part 1, maybe like, that is a very odd question. I can literally say I've never
Yeah.
thought about that. I would guess blue or
Mhm.
whatever. Um,
Yeah, yeah. So this one is good. Like I've never thought of this. Like I've never thought it's present perfect. Nice.
yeah.
So I've never thought of this, but I'd guess that
Yeah,
yeah.
totally. Rory, I see what you're saying. Maria is the expert at picking out the gorgeous
Yes.
grammar. Like she said,
Grammar.
we need you around on IELTS Energy, Maria, to show all the
I'm
grammar
gonna be like, oh,
knowledge.
oh, oh, wait, wait. That's the second conditional. This is a good structure.
I love it. I love it.
Inversion? No,
Mhm.
no inversion.
Don't talk about
All
conditionals
right,
with
guys.
me, I
So,
can't.
what do you think? Mhm. I can't even with
Yeah, it's a
conditionals.
running joke on the
All right.
podcast that I just don't do conditionals very well, but, that's what we have Maria for, so it's okay.
Well, that's the thing. Everyone has their expertise. Play to your strengths. All right, guys. What is another thing that students should not do on the speaking test?
I think they shouldn't use two idioms in one
I
sentence.
love that.
I know, dear listener, you do want to use idioms in your IELTS test, but please, like two idioms in one sentence, no. Like, for example, oh, I felt under the weather yesterday, so I decided to kill two birds with one stone and stay at home to rest
Exactly.
and work.
Exactly. How does that affect your score if they're speaking like that?
It's just the examiner will just like, really? And your score for vocabulary, like it's called lexical resource,
Mhm.
will go down.
Yeah.
So you've used two idioms in one sentence. It's not natural. So the examiner will just go like, seriously?
Mhm.
And instead of an 8, you can get a 7 for lexical resource.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe even lower, than a 7 for vocab. Because I would
Hmm.
guess if a student is every time a student like pushes themselves to include vocabulary, to include idioms, chances are they're
Ah.
not using them correctly either. Like some of them might be
Yeah.
correct, some of them probably won't be correct because you're trying to shove these phrases in when they actually are inappropriate. They don't make sense. Like you won't get credit, let's say, if you're using something amazing but using it incorrectly.
Yeah, true. And if you misuse the idioms, they kill the score.
Yeah.
Okay. So I say if you do use like idioms, maybe one or two idioms in a test. So speaking is from 11 to
Okay.
14 minutes.
Yeah.
So use them once or twice. Like
Yeah.
just
That's good advice.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, that's good advice. All right. Now, what is the third thing? Oh, this is a good one, guys. I love this one. What's the third thing that students should definitely not do on the speaking exam?
Well, since I'm Scottish and we're famous for it, you shouldn't swear in the exam. Shouldn't
Okay,
be
awesome.
swearing in
Yeah,
general,
like
but but
No
no, not in the exam.
F-bombs.
Now,
You should be very polite,
yeah.
politically correct, neutral. So no C words, F bombs. Can I say like something like nonsense or stupid or
Yeah.
That's
silly?
fine.
Yeah, definitely. Like,
So that's nonsense.
let's get into the student's mind here. Like, when on the speaking exam would they want to use a swear word, do you think? Like, when would that even come up for someone?
When they
It's a
when they make
stupid
a mistake.
question. Like, what kind of bags do you prefer? That's a stupid question.
Can you imagine?
That's the most stupid question I've ever heard.
That's like attacking the examiner.
Yeah.
That's so mean.
And the other thing is, the examiner's a
It
person.
is mean,
Swearing
yeah.
has an effect on people. So if the examiner sees you using coarse
Yeah.
language, even though they shouldn't be affected by it, it still doesn't create a great impression. And you should be trying your best in these situations.
Totally.
Okay. What about like if you are answering a question and then you forget a word and you go
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, like bags. Oh crap, I forgot.
Right,
How
right.
to say this? Can I say like, oh
Well,
crap, I forgot this?
You
Like, what do you
know,
say?
oh, we all have ideas.
what do you think,
Sorry.
Rory?
Crap.
I was just going to say if you admit that you've forgotten a word anyway, that affects your score, right?
Well, no, not if you can paraphrase.
Mhm.
I think it's all part of fluency because native speakers can forget words too. You know what I mean? As long as you could keep talking through it and then like make yourself clear, like, oh shoot, it's that
Mhm.
thing that, you're using relative clauses to explain it. I don't think that
Hmm.
would necessarily bring down your score as long as you could communicate it fluently. What do you think?
So you can say you can say like, oh shoot, like instead of oh like oh shoot, oh crap,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, for sure. I like maybe try and use something fun that natives use to replace swear words like fiddlesticks or
oh sugar.
This is something we used to
something
teach
like
students
that.
all the time,
Do you,
especially young learners.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. I remember teaching that expression
Oh, that's so fun.
at a summer camp in Russia, and you had all of these Russian
sugar
students wandering around saying fiddlesticks.
or
It was
what?
amazing. Yeah.
Fiddlesticks.
Mhm.
Fiddlesticks. Okay.
Fiddlesticks. That's so fun. I taught in Taiwan for a long time, and there I taught with a South African teacher for a while. We were teaching young learners, and he forgot the English word for like dustpan. And so he just taught them the Afrikaans word, scopy,
Oh, is
I
that what
think
it
it is.
is?
And
Okay.
so there were all these Taiwanese kids like using Afrikaans and English like mixed together. It was a beautiful time. Okay, back to IELTS. So definitely no swearing,
Mhm.
right? But I think if you are frustrated and that is something that you need to express at the moment because speaking is spontaneous by nature, right? And so you have to say something, then just
Mm.
replace it with a
Yeah.
fun word. That's fine. It's okay to feel frustrated. All right. What is the last thing? And I love this. And this is for writing as well. This is like one of my pet peeves with writing also. What is the last thing that students should not do on the test?
Maria, do you want to take that one?
People, more people, lots of people. Yeah, like repeating people all the
Yeah.
time. Very often in an essay,
Mhm.
Yep.
right?
Exactly.
And here, dear listener, like instead of using an idiom, you can show off your synonyms, like people who exactly, like citizens,
Nice.
students, professors,
Exactly.
workers, directors. I know who else.
Yeah. Phlebotomists. Just kidding. Performers,
There you
athletes,
go.
family members. Like, yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
never talking about all of the people in the world. Like, this is
Relatives.
yeah, totally.
Children. For example, you can go like toddlers.
Yeah.
How old are they? 5-year-olds, teenagers, adolescents,
Perfect.
maybe a bit more formal.
Exactly.
Teens. You see, so if you talk about people, small people, so what kind of small people?
Yeah.
10-year-olds.
Exactly. Yeah, precisely, guys. You have to again, like, not repeat yourself. I don't know, people. And get specific with who you're talking
Mhm.
about. I love it. All right, guys. So before we finish up today, I am really curious about this premium content of yours. How can students access that? How can our listeners find this?
The link is gonna be in the description, right?
Yes.
So you can just go there, click the link, and check out our premium episodes. So speaking part 2 and 3
Awesome.
with super vocabulary and the idioms as well, grammar, third conditional, and we give you a 3-day trial for free.
There
so
we
3
go.
days for free. Free 3 days.
Oh,
That
try
is
saying
pretty
that
tough to
fast.
say.
Yeah.
Fiddlesticks.
Free 3 days.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Three free days, guys.
Three free
That
days.
is the takeaway today. That is what you need to know. So definitely look at the description. You're listening right now. Look at the description, or you're on YouTube. Look at the description there, guys. Click on that link so you could get this free 3 days of this premium content. And of course, follow the IELTS Speaking for Success podcast wherever you're listening to us. Put that in the search bar right now, guys. Wherever you're listening, IELTS Speaking for Success is there, because I know you need more Maria and Rory in your lives. I know I do.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you. Oh, thank you so much.
Okay, my pleasure, guys. Oh, and also, I'm going to be on their podcast soon. So that's another reason, guys. Go over and subscribe or follow. All right, awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming on and discussing this stuff today.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you for having us.
All right, have a good day. Bye.